Hello, hello, hello. It is such a pleasure to have you here with me this afternoon. And my name is Agnes Harris, and I'm here to talk to you about one of my favorite things, special education, and why it is important to me and to the children, especially the handicapped and disabled children. I have with me today Sister Marcia Ross, Shalonda Williams, Alondia Montgomery, along with Kira Stan and Akira Springsteen. Um, about my subject, in the Optimizing Speech Education book, it tells us that 30 years ago that handicapped children weren't allowed to go to school. They told the parents, now imagine this, that if the handicapped children interacted with their normal children, that it would harm them. Now what harm can it come for children to get together? It also says that long time ago that handicapped and disabled children were institutionalized, so they say, for parental care. But the thing about that was that if these children came from wealthy parents, or if an organization sponsored these kids, then they were allowed to go to a private school, where the other children were left out. Thank God for the acts, the laws of disabled children that started back in 1975 that emphasized that children, handicapped children, could go to school, that they could be in interaction with regular children. The importance of handicapped children going to school is that they're just like normal children. They can learn. Some of them might have a little more difficulty in learning, but they do learn. For instance, there's a student by the name of April. April was completely cerebral palsy. She couldn't do anything for herself. All she could do was wave her hands, and she would smile at you. But as she was learning, and if she really couldn't talk, but if you say something to her or you tell her to pronounce her name, she made sounds, and it sounded like she was saying her name. So this gives us the knowledge to know that even handicapped children can learn. It says that in today's society we have specialists that studies the learning pattern of our children, and they get together with the parents and they talk about their children, and they do what they call an IEP. This tells them what the children can do, and what they do is keep track of their learning process. Every child, no matter who they are, should have a chance to learn. They should have a chance to also not only to get schooling, but to learn how to survive out in the world. Our children, special ed children, are sometimes funny little people, sometimes funny big people. They go by a certain pattern. They program themselves more to say, and they go by this pattern, and if their pattern is interrupted, then their day is interrupted. Take for instance, when that student gets off that school bus and gets to the school, they know the first thing they do is they head to the cafeteria. Okay, they know once they get there, they get into line, then they go inside and they tell the worker what they want to eat. Okay, then once they get their food, then they hold a tray and they walk down, and the idea or the feeling of reaching in their pocket and paying for their own breakfast is an enjoyment. Another thing that they enjoy is that these students are put on what you call a work program. This teaches them the skills for them to get out into the world so they can survive on their own. But the thing about it is that once they get to these job sites, and they give them an assignment to do, and they finish that assignment, you should see the fulfillment, the joy that comes over their face, knowing that they have done what they were asked to do, and they finished it all. And then after they finish that, then they get a reward. Like they might go to the mall and they might get a chance to go up and buy their own food. They go to the counter and they tell them exactly what they want, and they hand her money. And then she gives them their change back. And then they sit down and they eat their lunch, because this was their fulfillment of what they have done. Now the thing about it is that in the optimizing speech education text, it lets us know that these programs are not just for the mentally retarded or the physically handicapped children. All children, regardless of how severe their case might seem, should be given an opportunity to learn. Now with these children, we have teachers. Some of them are trained especially for special ed. And the special ed teacher, along with the general ed teacher, work together to come up with a plan that they feel that would work good towards this child. One of these special people that worked with the special ed student is Miss Afina Gamble. And she works at the Windsor Forest High School as a special ed lead teacher. Miss Gamma, like Jesus in Matthew 14 and 14, has compassion for our children, because Jesus had compassion on us. Miss Gamma got her degree, a bachelor's degree, and her PhD degree from the University of the Philippines. She was one of those group of teachers that they brought in when they said that we had a shortage, but they brought her in, and since then she has enjoyed working with the children. Now, like she told me, she didn't get her education, her degree in the special ed, but she found that working with the special ed students gave her insight to what we do here that they don't do in the Philippines. Because she said in the Philippines, all the kids were grouped together regardless of what they were. But over here, she found that the programs that we have here in the United States helps her to understand and to help her learn more about our handicapped children. And that one day, she hopes to take whatever she has learned here and take it back to her country and implement it over there. Now, another special person that works with the special needs children is a special ed paraprofessional by the name of Mrs. Teresa Rayner. Ms. Rayner has been a special ed paraprofessional for the last 20 years. And she enjoys her work. You know, sometimes she said it gets hectic. You don't know what's going to happen from day to day. But just the enjoyment of working with these children and seeing what they can do and what they can accomplish is sufficient for her. There is a law, which is the Education for All Handicapped Children, that was established in 1975, that said that all children, all handicapped children from the age of 3 to 21 can obtain an education. And I think this is a beautiful thing. The other person that I'd like to speak about as being an expertise with the special ed children is myself. I worked with the special ed children for 7 years, and April was one of my students. And like I said, she couldn't do anything for herself, but she could wave her hands, and she could grunt and make sounds. And she enjoyed being with the other children, and she enjoyed being out in the public. So I feel that special ed is a good thing. Jesus, or God, values human life. He values handicapped people. For us, it is our job to embrace these people, to love them as another human being. The thing, and this is just a special thing. And another thing that with the handicapped children that I feel is very important is a Special Olympics. These children enjoy going to Special Olympics. It gives them an outlet to let them know that they don't have to be perfect to accomplish something. No matter how severe they are, they all participate. Even the children in the wheelchairs participate in the Special Olympics. And it doesn't matter whether they come in first, whether they come in second, or they come in last. The joy and the enjoyment and fulfillment on their face when they get their little ribbons that go on their clothes is an enjoyment for all teachers and their aides to see. Well, I would like to thank you for coming and listening to me this afternoon. And we need to keep in mind that no matter how we are, how we look, that we are all special. Thank you, and enjoy your afternoon.
Oh.